Before you can know which hair products are best for natural black hair, you should probably know everything there is to know about natural black hair. Let's start with hair in general. Hair is made up of polypeptide chains, and within those polypeptide chains there are 3 bonds: the disulfide bond, the hydrogen bond, and the salt bond. Disulfide bonds in straight hair are paired, whereas in curly hair there are sulfhydryl groups. I said that wrong, it's such a tongue twister, but here is the spelling of that word. Keep in mind, these groups are not by themselves and paired with the disulfide bond. They are on the outside. These groups lie in between the disulfide bonds, and the more of these groups you have, the curlier your hair gets. The disulfide bonds in straight hair are paired. In curly hair, they have sulfur groups that are, you know, all around, scattered throughout, and the more of those groups you have, the curlier the hair becomes. So that is how you have curly hair, and that is the difference between curly hair and straight hair. It is not some little weird thing or we drunk some little weird water. No, that is literally how God made it go. Okay, and of course a little bit of it has to do with genetics. Why does genetics have something to do with it? Simply because that's going to determine the size of the follicle. As I've told you guys in other videos, the size of the follicle determines the texture of the curl. The larger the follicle, the straighter the hair, and the more squinched the follicle, the curlier the hair, and that is something that has to do with genetics. Obviously, if you have a Asian mother and an Asian father, your cuticle is going to be round. Or if you have a Asian mother and maybe a African American father, or vice versa, you will see that your cuticle size will be a little different from that of somebody who's purely Asian. I really hope that this is making sense. This is the piece of information that you guys would use to replace the curl typing chart. I know that we love the curl typing chart, but let's be honest. The curl typing chart is literally just to give you guys a visual representation. If you are not new to my channel, I say this all the time, but if you've heard it all the time, I'm sorry, babe, because this is for the new people who have not. Most of us love the curl typing chart, and it is okay. In my opinion, the curl typing chart is basically for vanity metrics. For example, in this video here, my mother got clip-in hair extensions, and the way that the curl typing chart helped us was for vanity metrics. It lets you know what your curls look like. So with this hair company that specializes in textured clip-in hair extensions, I was able to say, oh, well, the visual representation of her hair is 4A. So because I said it looks like 4A, they could match that vanity metrics and send me hair that looks like 4A. In this video here, I explained to you exactly where the curl typing chart came from. Head over there and watch this video because I really don't feel like going into it right now. I really don't. With that being said, understand that your product selection should go based not on the way that your curls look, 4B, 4C. So how do you select the best product for your hair? Knowing the porosity of your hair. Porosity is your hair's ability to absorb or release moisture. If you have low porosity hair, you have a cuticle that is mainly closed and is very hard to open. So once it gets the moisture in there, it's good, but it will not let it go, and it is really hard for you to open the cuticle to impart moisture. And with high porosity hair, you have a cuticle that is always open. It is very hard for that cuticle to close. So when you want to get moisture in, it's very easy to get it in there, but it is extremely hard to keep it there, and the hair is open and it is more susceptible to heat damage and product buildup and things of that nature because the cuticle is always open. And if you have medium porosity hair, your hair is kind of sort of like on that middle ground where it kind of does what it's supposed to do. It opens when it's supposed to open, closes whenever it's supposed to close, and then boom, there you go. Before we get into product selection based on porosity, how do you figure out what your porosity is? Well, if you watch this video here, I give you a step-by-step rundown on how to check your porosity, and it will not take you 5 minutes. And now that you know what your porosity level is, it is time to select these products for natural hair. Read the ingredients, you guys. I do not mean like you're supposed to know what all of these different products are, but you have a smartphone, you have the bottle. Whenever you go to the beauty supply store or wherever you're going to buy products, even if you're going online, it is not a big deal. Once you look in the ingredients, you're going to make your product selection based on your porosity level. For example, if you're a person who has a low porosity hair, the hair is like abnormally strong, okay? It's already like hulking on them. You can barely get the cuticle open. So if the hair is already really strong and it's really pretty resistant, the very last thing you want to do is give the hair protein. Low porosity hair does not like protein. So whenever you are at the beauty supply store and you're looking at a product, when you look at the ingredients, if you see anything like a protein treatment, Afro G, anything like that has anything to do with protein, that is not your friend. What do you need to do with low porosity hair? You want to open the cuticle. You want to get different products that have tea tree in them, eucalyptus, different types of ingredients and additives that will cause the cuticle to open. Low porosity hair, that is your point. Opening the cuticle, imparting moisture, and then closing it safely and creating a pattern for the hair so it knows when it's time to open and when it is time to close. If you have medium porosity hair, you just need to keep everything at a level ground. You don't need excessive amounts of protein. You don't need excessive amounts of tea tree. You need to keep everything at a level playing ground. So if you have medium porosity hair, then what you need to do is just make sure that follicle, you need to make sure the follicle is staying clean and clear, and you need to make sure that you're doing 50-50. Equal amounts of clarifying and equal amounts of conditioning and protein treatments. Okay. High porosity hair. Like I said, if you have high porosity hair, you have a cuticle that is wide open, and sometimes it is very hard to close that cuticle. I know that for a fact because I myself have high porosity hair. We have to stay away from products that open the cuticle. Why? Because our cuticle is already open. Does that mean that you cannot use products like tea tree and things of that nature? No, that is not what that means. What that means is those products do not need to be left on your hair overnight. You should not be using leave-in conditioners that have tea tree and eucalyptus and things of that nature in it, because the cuticle is already open, and you putting anything on it to open the cuticle will only injure the cuticle more. You need protein treatments, and you need thicker conditioning mask that will begin to either repair the hair or maintain the hair's natural pH balance. And this is where different herbs and things of that nature that I absolutely love come into play, like on this video here. This is my favorite mixture for high porosity hair, and I'm giving you guys a couple of different tweaks to go in between whenever it comes to different product formulations. The initial recipe that I give you can always be tweaked out and twerked with different oils and different additives added or subtracted to give you the result you need based on your level of porosity. If you are not making the products yourself and you are buying products in the store, you need to make sure that you understand what low porosity hair needs, what high porosity hair needs, and what medium porosity hair needs. And once you study that, which is something you can do on your phone or here in one of my ebooks, then you can make the right product selections. Finding the best natural hair products for black hair is not that complicated. This is going to be really easy. You figuring out what products are best for natural hair is going to be a breeze for you. Why? Because you already know the way that your curls look has nothing whatsoever to do with the way that you select products. The only thing that matters about the way that you select products is your level of porosity. Once you know the level of porosity, you can select the product that works best for you, and I can almost guarantee you, unless the product line sucks, the product will work if it is based on your porosity level. If you want more information, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Also, you guys, let me know in the comments below right now, what is your level of porosity and what is your favorite product to use for your level of porosity. But I love you guys so much, and until my next video, bye.